Thank you for tuning in to Keanoreads Goosebumps. Welcome back. Today we take a look at the teaser sections from books 11 to 20. When this video reaches 100 views, part 3 will be released, with books 21 to 30 featured. But for now, I do hope you enjoy part 2. Book 11, The Haunted Mask. First published in the UK, 1994. Carly Beth took a deep breath and stepped up to the shelves. Her eyes settled on an ugly mask on the lower shelf. It had a bulging bald head. Its skin was a putrid yellow-green. Its enormous sunken eyes were an eerie orange and seemed to glow. It had a broad, flat nose smashed in like a skeleton's nose. The dark-lipped mouth gaped wide, revealing jagged animal fangs. Staring hard at the hideous mask, Carly Beth reached out a hand towards it. Reluctantly, she touched the broad forehead, and as she touched it, the mask cried out. Carly Beth wants to scare her friends so badly, but the hideous mask she's brought seems to suit her a little too well. Book 12, Piano Lessons Can Be Murder. First published in the UK, 1994. Piano lessons might be fun, I thought, if they let me learn to play rock music, not that drippy, boring classical stuff. After a few lessons, maybe I could get a synthesizer, get 2 or 3 different keyboards, hook them up to a computer. Then I could do some composing, maybe get a group together. Yeah, it could be really excellent. I closed my eyes. The window rattled again. The old house seemed to groan. I'll get used to these noises, I told myself. I'll get used to this old house. After a few nights, I won't even hear the noises. I had just about drifted off to sleep when I heard the soft, sad piano music begin again. Jerry's new piano teacher, Dr. Shriek, is starting to give him the creeps. What is it about him that's so weird? Then Jerry hears the stories about pupils of Dr. Shriek's who went for a lesson and were never seen again. Book 13, Be Careful What You Wish For. First published in the UK, 1994. She's crazy, I realised. I stared into those cold black eyes. Rainwater trickled from her hair down the sides of her pale face. I could feel the coldness of her hand, even through the sleeve of my anorak. The woman is crazy, I thought. I've been walking through the pouring rain for 20 minutes with a crazy person. 3 wishes, the woman repeated, lowering her voice as if not wanting to be overheard by anyone. No, thanks. I've really got to get home, I said. I tugged my wrist from her grasp and turned to my bike. I'll grant you 3 wishes, the woman repeated. Anything you wish for shall come true. She moved the purple bag in front of her and carefully pulled something from it. It was a glass ball, bright red, the size of a large grapefruit. It sparkled, despite the darkness around us. Book 14, The Werewolf of Feverswamp. First published in the UK in 1995. Just as I was about to pull open the crude wooden door, it swung out, nearly hitting us both. We leapt back as a man burst out from the dark doorway of the hut. He glared at us with wild black eyes. He had long grey-white hair, down past his shoulders, tied behind him in a loose ponytail. His face was a bright red, sunburn maybe, or maybe red from anger. He stared at us with a menacing scowl, standing bent over, stooped from being inside a low hut. As he glared at us with those amazing black eyes, his mouth opened, revealing rows of jagged yellow teeth. Huddling closer to my sister, I took a step back. Book 15, You Can't Scare Me. First published in the UK in 1995. I saw arms poking up from the dirt. I saw mud-covered heads appear. More and more bodies rose up silently from the marshy ground. Dark figures, dripping with thick mud, pushed themselves up and began staggering across the clearing. Their bare feet slapped the mud as they walked. There were dozens of them now, skinny, scraggly, twisted, mud-drenched bodies, all lurching towards the tree house. Dozens and dozens more pulling themselves up from under the ground. "Run!" I screamed, jumping out from behind the weeds. "Courtney, Denise, run! Run!" They hesitated. Then they finally saw the hideous monsters. Book 16, One Day at Horrorland. First published in the UK in 1995. We all uttered astonished cries as we saw the horrors crossing the plaza. Dozens of them. They moved quickly with a steady rhythm, silently. A few seconds before, the plaza had been empty. Now it was filled with green, costumed horrors marching towards us, spreading out, preparing to surround us. I could feel the panic rise up from my stomach. My knees began to shake. I stared in horror at them. As they drew closer, closer, I couldn't speak. I couldn't move. "What are they going to do?" Clay cried, his features twisted in terror. He slipped behind Dad. "What are they going to do to us?" he cried. Book 17, Why I'm Afraid of Bees. First published in the UK in 1995. I gasped in fright. A hideous monster was reflected in the window glass. The creature had two huge glaring eyes, and it was staring right at me. I tried to scream, but I was too terrified to utter a sound. I have to get away, I decided. I moved to my feet and started to run. The monster in the glass ran too. I stopped and stared at the window glass. The monster stopped and stared back at me. "Oh no, please, no!" I cried. "Please don't let it be true." I reached up and tried to cover my eyes. The creature in the window did the same thing, and suddenly I knew the hideous truth. The monster in the mirror. It was me. Miss Carmen had messed up. Totally. And now I was trapped inside the body of a bee. Book 18, Monster Blood 2, first published in the UK in 1995. He reached in and pulled out the plastic can. He read the faded label, Monster Blood. Then he read the words in the tiny type below it. Surprising miracle substance. "I saved it," Andy said, beaming proudly. Evan couldn't get over the shock. "You brought Monster Blood? I don't believe it. You brought Monster Blood?" "No." She shook her head. "It's empty, Evan. This can is empty." His face fell. He sighed in total disappointment. "But you can show the can to everyone," Andy insisted. "That'll prove you didn't make it up." "It will prove that Monster Blood really exists." Evan sighed again. "What good is an empty can?" he groaned. He pulled off the top, peered inside, and screamed. Book 19, Deep Trouble. First published in the UK in 1995. Turned and started back for the boat, kicking hard. but something grabbed my right leg and held on. I froze in fear. Then I frantically kicked my leg as hard as I could. Let go! Let go of me! I couldn't see it, and I couldn't pull free. The water churned and tossed as I kicked with all my strength. Overcome with terror, I lifted my head out of the water and choked out a weak cry. Help! But it was no use. Whatever it was kept pulling me down to the bottom of the sea. Book 20, Go Eat Worms, first published in the UK in 1995. The worms are going to get revenge, Todd, Regina said. They saw what you did. Now they're planning the revenge. Todd let out a scornful laugh. You must think I'm as stupid as you are, he declared. There's no way I'm going to fall for that. No way I'm going to believe such a stupid idea. Giggling to each other, Regina and Beth returned to the ping-pong game. Todd dropped the 2 worm halves into the tank. To his surprise, 4 more worms had poked up out of the soft dirt. They were staring straight up at him. Todd stared back down at them, thinking about what Regina and Beth had said. What a stupid idea, he thought. Those worms weren't watching me. Or were they? Consider giving this episode a like, comment, or even subscribing to become a member of the Keanoreads Goosebumps Club. Thanks again, Keano.